Hey, I just bought a cheap shifter for the Z off eBay. Is it any good? I mean, it looks pretty good. How bad can it be? I mean, there's only one way to find out. This cheap shifter looks awfully similar to the IRP shifter, which looks very similar to the CoWork shifter, which looks very similar to the CAE shifter. I don't know which one came first. Seems like everyone is copying each other's homework. All I know is that I have the IRP shifter in my FOS, and I love it. It's very notchy, very precise. It just feels awesome to shift through the gears. Something so satisfying about the notchiness of the shifter, which is why I wanted one for the other car. It's fun, just fun. Which means my garage queen needs to get out. Drift car is in the garage, and after I do the shifter, I got more plans. I picked up this Chase beige power steering kit. Looks pretty nice, looks pretty fancy. Would be a nice improvement to that guy. So let's check out this shifter I picked up off eBay for only $159. That's really cheap. Quality wise, it looks really good. Like machined aluminum brace, looks really nice. Very nicely done. Like, it looks very similar to my other shifter. Very similar. Now the question is all of them fit and finish, and mechanically, is it gonna work well? Well, let's get started. Unfortunately, I'm gonna get rid of my matching shifter and hydro, which is probably a good thing because sometimes I mix them up while I'm driving. So I'm obviously gonna have to take this apart, so take this guy out and probably the center console as well, which you might be able to get away with doing without taking this guy out. But since I have a hydro that mounts to the top of my shifter assembly, I'm gonna have to take it out because I need to take this all apart. And this thing did not come with any instructions, so I have to wing it as I go and figure things out. I do think I'm gonna have to jack the car up and lower the trans just a little bit to get to some of the stuff. Okay, I went ahead and took out my center console, got my hydro just kind of pushed out of the way. Of course, different cars can have different setups, different hydro setups. Yours might be different. And once that's out of the way, you can take your big boot, throw it away, take your small boot, rip it off, throw it away. Then I gotta take these 3 10 mils off to get this little plate off. Then take this lockout plate out of the way. Next thing to do is to go down there. Now I gotta do the little bit less fun part. Gotta go underneath the car because at the bottom of that shifter there's a bolt that holds the shift linkage to the bottom of the shifter. Gotta take that bolt out so you can lift the rest of the shifter out at the top. Also a big shout out to Dawson from Circle Drift for sending out all these banners, t-shirts, and keychains and stuff. If you're into drifting, you should definitely be listening to Circle Drift podcast. He always has awesome guests, so definitely worth a listen. Now I just need to figure out where I'm going to put all this stuff. I got to do the less fun part is underneath the car. I think I got it high enough to get to the boot. So you can see it. See where we're trying to get to, you see the shift linkage coming out of the back of the transmission above the drive shaft. This thing is a boot, you gotta pull it down. And you will expose this bolt that's going through here. So when you take that guy out, as soon as I took that bolt out, this thing just sprung out because there's a spring in there. Yeah, that was easy. And this is a 12 mil bolt. If you don't want to spring out, take the bolt out, then take that plate out. So I did it a little backwards. Either way, it's fine. It'll come out. Now we're at probably the hardest part of the project is this base that the shifter goes into. We got to remove this guy, which 2 of the screws are under there. And in order to take that base out, I think there's 4 10 mil bolts. See this one's on the sides, on both sides. and there's two on top. You can kind of see the bottom of the bolt up there, but getting to the top portion is the hard part. You might be able to get a wrench on the top portion and just slowly wrench it out, but it won't be fun. Or you can drop the transmission by taking this transmission mount out and just lowering it with a jack. That's probably what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this mount loose from the body, put a jack on it, and just lower it down. Got the trans lowered. It's only 14 millimeters that hold that little brace in. The transmission will only go so far. But now that's lowered, it's probably a little bit easier to see the two 12 mils on top. Don't know if you can see those or not.
20 minutes later.
Okay, I got the big brace thing out. It was kind of pain in the ass because it's kind of wedged in there. But you gotta twist and twist it and turn it and wedge it out just to find its way out. I did take this brace that goes underneath the drive shaft out. Made it a little easier. Just keep fighting with it, it'll eventually come out. Now all the old stockness is out of the way, we can start working on the new hotness, which has no instructions, but I think I can figure it out. Okay, I'm putting this together. I got the boot on the bottom side. You can tell the bottom side has the bevels. These bevel guys is the bottom. And in order to get this to this guy, there's like a little set screw. You gotta take the little set screw out, and this will pull out. And I'm gonna have to feed this guy through the hole into the boot. It's not a bad idea to lock tight those bolts in. I also did the little set screw as well, because kind of pain in the ass if you're on the track or drifting and those things rattle loose, just vibrations. It has happened to me on the FRS on my IRP shifter. I was in the middle of the track up bubble and my shifter started to come out. Whew. It's a lot colder today than it was yesterday. I was in a t-shirt watching the car. Now it's like 30. Now I can put this guy in the car since it's all built together. Hopefully my screws are long enough to make it through this thick plate and my hydro. Got my e-brake hydro plate down first, so I can put the shifter up on top of it. But we do have a issue. My hydro is interfering with this bottom bracket, so my holes are not lining up, which means I'm gonna have to shave this guy down a little bit on the big base. Nothing my trusty grinder can't fix. Okay, I got that shaved down. It's mostly this corner that needs it. But this material is thick enough, which it should be fine. Not too worried about it. Hey, it fits. All my bolts screw in. Got plenty of room. I have room for adjustment to get it where I need it to be. Guess it's solid. Now we just have to go back underneath the car and hook up my shift linkage so I can shift.
Why?
Where I didn't make it very far until I ran into another issue is the fork that goes between this was too narrow, so I had to widen it, essentially taking two breaker bars and spreading it out. But even if it's spread out, this guy will not go in far enough to line the bolt. Essentially this block is too wide, too fat. So I'm going to attempt to shave down the corners. Okay, shave this down a little bit. Make it a little bit skinnier so it'll slot in. Hey, I got the shifter hooked up, got the car back on the ground. What I ended up doing, first I tried the bolt that, the OEM bolt, and then it made the shifter too tight. So I put the bolt it came with and only used one of the little spacers that I just threw somewhere. I only used one of the little spacers that it comes with on the driver's side, because on the passenger side it still has the welded on nut. But I did double nut it. That way that bolt's a little bit less likely to vibrate out. I got the base re-bolted down. It's nice and secure. Feels pretty good. I did adjust these stops. These are your lockout stops. To adjust it, you want to put it, first I went to 5th gear, so fall to the right. I'll run that little bolt until it touches the little shaft. Then you tighten it with an Allen wrench and a 7mm to tighten it up. Essentially keeps this from going too far to the right. Then you'll do the same thing on the other side. Go either 1st or 2nd gear. Make this little pin touch that little shaft. Tighten that nut. This little shaft in the middle essentially makes it where it slides in the gear pretty easy, pretty smoothly, but it doesn't go too far to where you can accidentally go into reverse. Right now I can't go into reverse until I push the button. That little shaft goes out of the way. Then I go right far enough to find reverse. Now all that is left is to put the interior back together. Hey, it's all done. Car's put back together. Got the interior in. I'm not super happy with my interior fitment, but it works, I guess. This piece was already hacked up already due to my hydro, and I had to chop this portion off because this guy sticks up too high, so I had to get rid of the boot instead. I mean, it wasn't like bad, but this was already cracked. Now it cracked all the way. Like, I wanted to keep things semi-stock as clean inside, because I still drive this on the street. It still has AC and all that stuff. I might buy another panel and try a little bit better to make it a little cleaner later. But now we get to do the fun part, is actually go test it out, go drive the car, see how it feels, see how it actuates, see if it's just as good as that car's. Okay, I'm back from my quick little test drive. It feels great. It's definitely super notchy. I feel confident on which gear it's going in at all times. It is a little rattly, noisy, to be fair. So is that one. But this one might be a little bit louder. Maybe I can do some little adjustments here and there to get rid of some of that. But for the most part, it feels just like this one. This one's probably slightly more crisp. It's also a lot more worn in. You definitely have to be, especially going like the third, you gotta be a little bit more forceful going into it, which also might be a wearing thing. Which, you know, it could get better with time, which things get worn in. It is pretty stiff down there where it hooks up to the shifter, where I had to shave off the little fork area. So just that being stiff, it probably makes it harder. Another thing I don't really like about this one is this, how it's not flush like the other one. I mean, it works good, but I don't know if I can adjust it or not. I might experiment and do that and see if this will go up any higher. Overall, it's pretty good, especially for the price. Keep in mind, I paid like, what, 150 bucks for this? So it's very cheap for a good short throw shifter. To put in context, the IRP one for both of these cars, like 500 bucks plus. Yes, I did have to modify a few things to get it to work right, but it's kind of comes with the territory once you buy products that are just that much cheaper than the name brand counterparts. It's just not going to be, the fit and finish isn't going to be as nice, as good. Also the R&D, testing it, make sure it works on different platforms, that type of stuff is where really a lot of that money goes into. Testing and QA and all that stuff. If a cheaper product, they just copy somebody else's homework and ship it out. But it's cold outside, so let's come back inside where it's slightly warmer, not much warmer. That is it for this install. Hope you got something out of it. Let me know in the comments which one would you rather have. This guy with just a stock shifter or that knockoff thing. And here soon I'm going to install my power steering reservoir kit from Chase Base. And that'll be next. And speaking of Chase Base, the next event I'm going to is going back to Polecat with Chase Base. This is my 4th time doing this event, taking the FOS again. I'll try not to break it again. So come back for that, for some drift car chasing action. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, like button, bell buttons, and some other buttons. And I will catch you next time. Peace.